Hi all, welcome to week 5, 5 weeks out of 12, so time's definitely flying. This week I wanted to give you a brief outline to writing a strategic plan and really a framework to think about writing your report for the applied project. In the week ahead there's a couple of pieces of assessment due. You've got the week 5 quiz and obviously assignment 1B, the case study from the workshop last week. Plus we expect you'll be working on your applied project as well. So firstly, what is a strategic plan and why is it needed? And this kind of harps back a little bit to last week's online workshop, the workshop prior to the physical workshop. There we discussed the fact that this is a roadmap to launch and grow an organization, and importantly, it's about thinking about the process, not just the product. So what process are you going to take to get to where you want to get to? It helps align stakeholders around the priorities of your organization. It communicates your goals, strategies, and programs, both internally and externally. And it really does help engage, motivate, and align your audiences, and whether that be donors, staff, voters, consumers, board members, whoever it is. What a strategy does is it's something that unifies and is dynamic and not static, engages and aligns. So these are the things that you want to be thinking about when you're writing a document, thinking about how you're addressing these issues. But broadly, if you think about the strategic plan components, and you might think of this essentially as the structure of your submission for the written component, for the report component of the applied project. So we'd expect to see an executive summary, we'd expect to see a mission and vision statement, some background to the market and marketplace analysis, of which we'd expect to see a pestle and a SWOT. We'd expect to see a section on goals, priorities and strategies, and then some additional components. So I'll talk through a little bit each of these, and at the end I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So the executive summary is probably, I would argue, the most important piece of the document. It's often the only piece that someone will read, and it needs to succinctly convey the direction, the priorities, and the impact of the strategy. It's critically important that this is the last thing that you write. You need to understand and know everything in your document to be able to decipher it and convey it in such a succinct and important manner. Your vision, mission, and values, okay, thinking back to last week's online lesson, develop a process for sharing a mission, vision, and values for key stakeholders, the mission statement, a vision statement, and the values. So these are the things that you need to determine based on the brief from the client. What will you decide? What path will you go down? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here, but your mission, vision, and values need to align with those developed in the brief by the client. The environment analysis, we'd expect to see data here. We'd expect you to be finding data from a variety of sources, probably literature potentially, market forecasts and trend-based information, the kind of thing that you might find in IBIS reports or from reports from the Big Four, as we spoke about, the PwC, those kind of organizations. Identifying and analysing similar organisations, and also you may interview experts in the field. It's not essential that you interview people for this piece of work, but we're not excluding it either. But there are two things that we would expect to see in this notion of environmental analysis, and that is a PES, so analysis of the political, economic, social, technological factors, and also a SWOT, your organization's strengths and weaknesses, as well as opportunities and threats. The goals, priorities, and strategies, we'd expect to see an outline of the goals, priorities, and strategies to meet the mission. We'd probably expect to see 3 to 4 overarching goals aligned with the mission, and from their priorities, activities, and objectives that flow down, and balance between your aspirational and forward-thinking goals, which are the ones, the kind of big, hairy, audacious goals, and those that are specific and tangible, and have a balance between those. Some additional components that you'd be expected to think about. The clients asked for details on branding and also advertising strategy, so what channels you might communicate through, but also with having a consideration for cost. You might also think about evaluation. What does success look like? And you might also think about how we track progress over time. There's a couple of examples. There's a link there to a strategy document, and if you look below this video, you'll see a report that I've uploaded there as well. These are just examples for you to look at, not for you to obviously copy, but examples that might give you inspiration of how to not only write sections, but also to present visually the information, because obviously there is a component of this assessment assessed in terms of the way you present information.